The call came minutes after the accident. His voice was calm, too calm. "My son has immunity," the CEO said. "I own the judge. Drop it." My daughter was in surgery, her body broken by his son's car. She had been left in the street like discarded trash. I held the phone tighter. My voice didn't waver. "You have no idea who you're talking with. You have 10 minutes to turn him in." He laughed, a hollow, arrogant sound. "Or what?" I didn't answer. Silence was sharper. 9 minutes later, his lawyer called me in a panic. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded. "We're ready to accept all of your terms, just—" I hung up. Because I wasn't negotiating. I was counting down. The betrayal wasn't the accident. Accidents happen. It was the arrogance. The certainty that money and power could erase a life. That my daughter's blood on the pavement was nothing more than an inconvenience. I sat in the waiting room, the fluorescent lights humming overhead, her blood still drying on my clothes. He thought I would fold, that fear of influence would silence me, that grief would make me weak. He was wrong. I didn't grieve, not then. I calculated. Every word he said played back in my mind. Immunity. I own the judge. It wasn't confidence, it was confession. He had already revealed his crime, even before his son's. I realized then I wasn't fighting a reckless boy. I was dismantling an empire I began quietly, always quietly. Hospital nights gave me time to dig, time to connect the threads he believed invisible. The judge, his finances, his backroom deals, the charities used as laundries for bribes, the shell companies under his son's name. Every piece of information was a match. Together, they built the fire. His arrogance made it easier. He never expected scrutiny. He thought the world existed to protect him. He left trails, careless and wide. And so I followed. Phone records, travel logs, whispered conversations caught on tape. But I didn't share them, not yet. I waited. Let the silence build around him. Let him feel untouchable a little longer. Rage simmered under my skin, but I kept my face calm. Nurses asked how I stayed composed. I told them I prayed. I didn't pray. I prepared. The file was complete 3 weeks later. Pages upon pages of rot disguised as wealth. I didn't send it to the police. Not yet. I sent it to him. Direct. A plain envelope delivered to his office by hand. Inside, proof of every bribe, every crime, every deal that chained him to his son's recklessness. No note, no signature, just evidence. He called me that night, his voice no longer arrogant, shaken, hollow. "What do you want?" I said nothing. Let the silence answer. "You don't understand," he begged. "If this gets out—" "It already has," I replied. The sound of his breath cracked over the line, because he knew I wasn't bluffing. The courtroom was silent the day his son stood trial. The immunity he promised dissolved like ash. The judge he owned had recused himself, replaced by one who owed him nothing. His son sat trembling, no longer a predator, but prey. The evidence spoke louder than pleas. Witnesses who had once stayed silent now came forward, emboldened. And the father, front row, powerless, watched it all unravel. He looked at me across the room, eyes searching for mercy, for negotiation. I gave him none. When the guilty verdict fell, my daughter still lay in recovery. Her life would never be whole, but his empire was in ruins, and that was enough. I walked out of the courthouse into clean air. Reporters swarmed, their voices desperate. I ignored them. Justice wasn't loud. It wasn't shouted in microphones. It was silent, precise, surgical. I thought of my daughter's smile before the accident, the way her laughter used to fill a room. That was gone now, stolen. But what I had taken from him was permanent. He could rebuild money, not trust, not power. He had built an empire on silence. I destroyed it with truth. As I walked away, I felt no pity, no satisfaction, only clarity. He thought he owned the judge. Now he knew he never even owned himself. In the end, his son wasn't the only one I put on trial. It was his name, his power, his very bloodline. And I left them both guilty.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.